Mr. Chancellor, Mount Allison University enjoys the tradition of the graduating class electing one of its members to deliver the valedictory address. As in most parts of their Mount Allison lives, our graduating students pursue this tradition as exuberantly as any political election. Unlike the tired first-past-the-post electoral system, which produces governments with dubious mandates, save in New Brunswick, of course, or the Electoral College in the United States, which elects a president with fewer votes than his opponent, the valedictory election at Mount Allison uses the transferable vote system, which some of us actually understand. This was another year in which we saw exceptional candidates and a lively, vigorous campaign, which, come to think of it, I do not recall being covered by our national broadcaster. Notwithstanding that shameful avoidance, one candidate emerged victorious, and that was Isaac Gazendam. Mr. Chancellor, I was thrilled when I learned that Isaac was to be this year's valedictorian. He's had an absolutely wonderful experience at Mount Allison, where he's been deeply engaged in campus life and has been an absolutely excellent student. I know this because I've been privileged to write some supporting letters for him as he progresses to his next accomplishments. And just a few weeks ago, I saw him in performance on this very stage in his role as the well-known role as Chuck in the Garnet and Gold production of Legally Blonde. I am confident that this is not the last time we will see him after he passes this stage. Mr. Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I present Isaac Gazendam as this year's valedictorian.
Hey. Good afternoon. I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone gathered here. Family, faculty, staff, distinguished guests, local dignitaries, and of course, the graduates. Thank you to my classmates for giving me the honor of addressing this gathering. Well, congratulations. We did it. We made it. We're done. But what exactly does that mean? This time in our lives, the era of Mount Allison and Sackville, of ubiquitous waterfowl motifs, is coming to an end. We have spent years working tirelessly to earn the degrees we now hold, and empty our bank accounts. But at this moment we are sitting in limbo, a pause between what has happened and what is yet to come. Our time here was seemingly interminable and yet magically fleeting. You probably remember when you first stepped foot on campus. Well, unless, of course, you completed your degree online via our extensive correspondence course offerings. Right. The point is, that's not how it works here. We were given the opportunity to be in this place together, face to face, and our learning was so much more than what we studied in class. Soon after we arrived, we recognized what would make this place special to us: the size, the setting, and the people. Go out for a beer at Ducky's and you'll run into a prof or two. Walk across campus and recognize nearly everyone. In Jennings, we knew the staff by name and they knew our favorites. There were times, of course, when Sackville felt too small and it seemed as if everyone knew your business. Or if they didn't, it wasn't for lack of trying. But despite the occasional feelings of claustrophobia, we all sensed that there were countless people here whose concern is authentic and whose kindness is limitless. This tiny town full of big-hearted people welcomed us in and watched us morph into the graduates who sit on either side of you today. We often hear phrases like, "only at Mount Allison," or "that's so Sackville." While we know exactly what they mean, every year here has made it easier to take them for granted. Our experience was shaped by Blundstones and mason jar mugs. We have never faced a shortage of bars to choose from when organizing a pub crawl. Gluten-free and vegan options thrive alongside what must be the most pizza places per capita in Canada. We consider any class with over 100 students massive. Far from diverse, we fiercely embrace diversity. Our professors invite us to their homes for end-of-semester soirees, and the town welcomes us with free corn. We embrace Sackville summers and inhabit the Sackville bubble. We have all gained fluency in a common, if strange, language. Here we speak of the stud and the purd and the woo. Our world includes a swanless swan pond, a broken bridge, and a club P. This is an oasis where we were once number one, but now all traces of that magazine that must not be named seem to have been curiously wiped from campus. Our minds are filled with memories from our time here. Climbing Mount Katahdin with Adam Christie on a frosty Thanksgiving weekend, hopping into the car with Dr. Fox at 6 a.m. to drive to a conference in Halifax, photography field trips to Cape Girarmain to capture quintessentially maritime images, and, of course, walks in waterfowl to reflect and regroup. Sometimes we got a little too heated for intramural sports, but it was nothing a cold beer couldn't fix. We spent countless hours in the lab, practically lived in the theater during Tech Week, and cheered our Mounties on with fierce pride. Now we sit together in this majestic hall much as we did that first week, unless, of course, your yellow shirt broke ranks and told you commencement was boring. But unlike that day, now we are swathed not only in black, but swaddled in the bright satin that signifies our achievements and our transition. We are ready to live out what we have learned here. For some, this day could not come fast enough. For others, the thought of leaving here is unbearable. Regardless, each of us is a jumble of emotions at this moment. Pride, sadness, elation, apprehension, well, an immense relief that we didn't just trip while walking across the stage. Many are excited to move on to graduate school, some to travel, and yet others, much to their parents' relief, to actual gainful employment. I'm not sure what each of you thought you would learn at university. I look back now and realize I had no clue what I was about to experience. Arriving here, I knew I wanted to succeed, but I had no idea what that really meant. Well, except possibly to one day meet Peter Mansbridge. Hey. In the beginning, however, we came here to get an education, whatever we perceived that to mean. And in my humble opinion, we succeeded. We got an education in biology or classics or accounting or anthropology. But it has been so much more than that. We got an education in love and heartbreak, in success and failure. We learned how to face consequences. Starting to watch Riverdale during exams was probably a bad idea. And we all learned how to support a friend in need. Because we also faced our fair share of adversity. We survived the tater tot casserole and relentless chicken burgers at Jennings. We were forewarned about maritime weather and dutifully packed our parkas and rain boots, but no one mentioned the wind that turns umbrellas inside out and makes a walk between classes an unsolicited workout. We suffered through semesters in the windowless, boiling Phlegm 116, straining to hear while straining our backs. We faced the infamous strike head-on by taking in every obscure Winter Olympic sport on offer. And I know we all learned an important lesson about hitting reply all. In all seriousness, we did face struggles and disappointments. There were times when we believed we just couldn't keep going, when we thought we couldn't possibly master the material or jam one more fact into our aching brains. Times when we questioned whether we belonged and if we had what it took to succeed. And then, thankfully, there were the times of sparkling clarity when we absolutely knew this is where we should be. Sharing an easy laugh with friends or feeling pride over work well done. And the first time each of us realized, as we spoke with a favorite prof, that we were speaking as peers. But now we are stepping out into an uncertain world, a world that is repeatedly rocked by tragedy and marked by unapologetic inhumanity and self-interest, where it seems to take the cold, lifeless body of a 3-year-old scooped off the beach in Turkey to shake us out of our complacency. A world of alternative facts, where people are turned away at borders because of their religion, where millions of girls lack access to education, and where we relentlessly pollute even as our planet warms, our ice caps melt, and rising sea levels threaten our coastal cities. It can seem at times that ours is a world careening close to the edge of destruction. So perhaps there has been no other time when those of us who have been privileged enough to study at university, and in particular at Mount Allison University, have so much to offer. We have learned how to learn, we are willing to question the status quo, and we are grounded in inquiry. We have the tools to promote authentic debate and lend our energy to writing the course. We must ask the hard questions, open our minds to innovation, and be mindful of our role as global citizens. Because this world we graduate into is also one of incredible beauty and goodness and heroism. It is a world where many courageous people of goodwill seek to find and reveal the truth, and perform acts of bravery and attempt to lead us down paths of peace and sustainability. Let us join them. There are those who will sneer at our liberal arts degrees. We have all heard the jokes, but I beg to differ. When we came to Mount Allison, we made a commitment to not only study deeply, but also broadly. We have sampled disciplines outside our own, and even if all we accomplished was to understand how little we knew about other disciplines, then we all have won. Our humility will stand as a bulwark against the pervasive know-it-all at a glance Google mentality. The degrees we receive today are not something static to frame and hang on the wall. They were born of hard work, friendship, self-doubt, discovery, and reflection. They were forged not only in classrooms, but also through volunteering to assist those in need, cheering each other on, and celebrating and mourning together. Our degree, or rather what it represents, is a wellspring that we can draw upon as we face new challenges and set about our life's work. We are uniquely equipped as we leave here to fight the repugnant forces of hatred, self-interest, and tribalism that permeate our world. Let us go forth with grateful hearts, rightfully proud of our achievements, and ready, as Mount Allison graduates, to leave our mark on the world with grace, integrity, and courage. But we did not reach this point of readiness alone. Many people helped us make it to this day and deserve our gratitude. To our families, and most especially to our parents. As we presented smiling faces to our peers and professors, it was you who patiently offered comfort as anguished phone calls home were filled with anxiety and indecision. You supported us, believed in us, and made this possible. Thank you. To our professors and instructors, I believe that each of us has had one professor, if not many, whom we can say changed our lives. You challenged us, guided us, inspired us, often made us laugh, and always made us think. Thank you. To the administration and staff, you gave us the space to learn, kept us fed and sheltered, and connected to the internet, most of the time. You helped create a caring community we could call our own, and in calling it our own, we provided moments of criticism and suggestions for making this a better place. We hope you have listened, because when you do, you provide the leadership, structure, and connections that make Mount Allison an esteemed institution of higher learning that is open and willing to change. Thank you. To our friends who, more than anyone else, defined the time we spent here. While softening our hard edges, you added a sheen, a rich patina born of dreams and disappointments, triumphs and mistakes. You held up a mirror so that we could better understand ourselves and stuck with us through our highs and our lows. While each of us had a unique experience at Mount Allison, I believe that it is our friendships that most enriched us all. So if I could distill everything I learned and share it with you, it would be the sum of countless lessons taught to me by the 3 closest friends I made here. One exemplifies selflessness and grace. Strong and determined, she is gentle and kind. She taught me to accept others, to be present, and that relationships must transcend all else. Another is brave and witty, incredibly intelligent and unapologetically herself. She taught me to challenge the status quo, to think critically, and the importance of being able to laugh at yourself. The third exudes positivity and kindness. Smart and hilarious, she is a fierce and loyal friend. From her I learned to never give up, to love life, and that every day merits celebration, usually in the form of ice cream. And so, to our friends, our companions on the journey, we say thank you. We will miss you. So, go forth, be kind, challenge norms, never stop learning. Celebrate the little things. Be positive, but know that it's okay not to be okay. Keep an open mind and an open heart. Sackville and Mount Allison will change just as we will, but the experiences we had here, the emotions we felt, and the friendships we forged will live on in the people we have and will become. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video. Eastlink TV is the home of community content. Make sure you don't miss any of it by clicking subscribe here.